another episode. I am K Marvel.
I am QS.
You stretch.
And I'm Striker Dragoon.
And we are the four quarters of commentary. That was horrible. Oh my god.
Remix.
I think that was. I think you have to stop. I'm supposed to listen out for the door. I think that might have been the door.
We're gonna keep that in. Keep that in. That's
Sure.
All right,
Just edit that part out. Just say face turns
door.
and edit that part out.
Great. We're not gonna edit that part out. That's the bad
We'll wait
part.
for the
I'm
door.
leaving this shit in there.
Oh my God.
Oh man, so today's episode is Face Turns. Basically, it's the opposite of what episode 6 was. Episode 9, sorry. It was Troy's idea.
69.
Come on, man. There are kids
Episode
watching.
6, and then you flip to the 9.
Christmas. All right, you're not making this any better. All right, so basically, it's when a bad guy turns into a good guy.
Right.
That's what this episode is about. So, Troy, go ahead. Oh, excuse me, Stryker. What is happening?
Oh no, I was gonna just say before we even start, and Striker goes first. We just
Where's
gotta give-
Stretch?
we have to give a special birthday shout out.
Right here. Oh yeah.
Hey.
One and only K Marvel. You know his
Yeah,
birthday
no.
was yesterday.
No.
But we're gonna celebrate it today, regardless.
Hey.
Hey, everybody, give a clap.
Round of applause. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, Striker, you go on. Start this off.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Get your
Now that we got the semantics out of the way.
yeah, right.
I'll get no respect.
Yeah, you are the team's Jabba Jar, aren't you? No.
Anyway.
That sounds terrible.
No.
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 Anyway, banter aside, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a wonderful episode. I'm starting with, I don't know if you got a Bible next to you. I don't know if you at church right now, but we about to lay this sermon down. My choice for one of the best face turns of all time in wrestling history is when Daniel Bryan had turned face versus the Wyatt family after joining them in a steel cage on Monday Night Raw. And where was this located, Chris? I mean, where was this located, Stretch?
That would be inside Penn State University.
There we go.
Because that face turn, and the reason why he's using so many gospel messages is because we both were in awe when we watched it.
And QS is shaking his head because we told this man church, tabernacle, and this was the night he believed.
Mm-hmm.
He believed in the Savior, Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan has saved us from the Eater of Worlds and his very dark and prophetic messages. But just to, briefly elaborate on, the face turn, Daniel Bryan for over, I want to say a few months. I want to say for a very...
Face turn happened. That was January. About at least 3-4 months.
I think it happened like closer to February because I believe that January was the Royal Rumble that CM Punk had the injury and decided to quit or something of that sort. I think it was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But Bryan and Punk were, tagging and facing the Wyatt family at one point, in these couple of months. But Bray Wyatt had this obsession with Daniel Bryan. He decided that, him and the Wyatt family were going to beat Daniel Bryan senseless every time they seen him. Got to a point, if I remember correctly, they threw him off a platform. You could even see, you could go and check on one of the videos on WWE's YouTube where they, Harper and Rowan throw him off a platform and all you see is Bray, doing his usual kneel and follow the buzzards routine. But Bryan got beaten badly to the point that he said, I couldn't take it anymore. And he begged Bray Wyatt to join the Wyatt family. sorry, Brian basically got embraced by Bray. No, Brian got embraced by Bray. Almost got it mixed up. Brian got embraced by Bray, decided to, get the kiss of Sister Abigail, and got hit with the finishing move. And they basically dragged him up the ramp,
Yep.
where he decided to, ignore the chants of the crowd, who was all screaming, no, 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 with their hearts broken. And from there, we've had Daniel Bryan tagging with Harper and Rowan, or even Harper and Bray Wyatt at sometimes, and they face the likes of the Usos. They face the likes of other tag teams around at the time. If y'all want to further elaborate, you can after. But I think just the pop alone, especially in a modern era, you have never heard anything like that. Just to have him turn on Bray, and then you have the simultaneous yes chants, and it rose with every point that Daniel Bryan did. The place erupted. Till this day, I have not heard a huge pop like that. And I think the only time you heard something similar to that was when Daniel Bryan announced that he's coming back to wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think you've had anything to match that certain pop. So that's it for my choice. Daniel Bryan, I think, has one of the best, face turns of all time.
All right. Okay. I mean, I don't want to elaborate.
I can't disagree with him whatsoever as far as like the
Yeah.
magnitude of the pop. I remember watching it on Raw because the
We
setup
watched it live that night.
Yeah, we watched it live that night. The setup was it was Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan in a cage match versus the Usos. The Usos won, and they were left alone in the cage. Bray's doing his thing, and he goes to give Daniel gives himself up to receive Sister Abigail, and then he reverses it, and the crowd went crazy, and they just from a fever pitch, it just got better and better. Luke Harper, who aka Brody Lee, now known as Brody Lee, member the leader of the Dark Order, and
And TNT champion. Don't be disrespectful.
Eric Rowan tried to climb into the cage and stop Daniel Bryan from attacking their leader. Doesn't happen. Daniel Bryan is able to fight them off from getting into the cage, and then it's just him and Bray left in the cage, and then he utterly basically destroys Bray. He hits him with his knee and stuff like that. He does the corner drop kicks where he's moving at 100 miles per hour. There was no way you could not get caught up in what Daniel Bryan was doing. And then when he hits him with the knee and he starts doing the yes, everybody in the crowd is getting hyped because they're Penn State. So this is a college town. So a lot of those fans were younger, college kids, and they were hyped and they wanted to see the show.
Penn State in itself is a very loud, boisterous fan base. So that in itself, even if you go back to when The Rock, one of my favorite promos when The Rock was in Penn State when they were there for the draft, and they, we are Penn State, and they what, and then you are an asshole chants events. I mean, Penn State is probably one of the loudest crowds.
Definitely
in the wrestling circuit.
I don't get enough credit for how passionate they could be. But yeah, they're going crazy with each thing, and then to top it off, Daniel Bryan climbs the top of the cage and is giving a yes chance, and everybody's doing it with him, and then they fade to black. You don't get
camera
pops
angles
like that anymore, man.
The camera angle was amazing.
Yeah. I think everything about his run, especially before he turned heel, when he was heel, and just after the turn, it was amazing. You can't get better than that, and that is a genuine feeling.
Excuse me.
That is a genuine feeling, and it sucks we don't have crowds nowadays, but to get that feeling back in an arena again, it would be so amazing.
Drew, I think Drew's win would have definitely, been one of those eruption moments.
Yeah.
We definitely, we'll get that. Let's go with Stretch next. What's your choice, sir?
So mine involves a legend. Storyline involves 3 legends, if you will.
It doesn't count.
So just to preface, I don't want to give it away immediately. It involves a WrestleMania match that happens in the early 90s. Now, when I say WrestleMania match, a lot of people probably thought that I was going with Rock versus Hogan, and that's a great first face turn within its own right.
So many levels.
Right, but I'm not pontificating about Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow.
So my face turn is the Macho Man Randy Savage turning face at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah.
Because you talk about pops and you talk about crowd reaction. When he reunited with Miss Elizabeth, there was not a dry eye in the LA sports arena. You know, it's such like an emotional moment. They're like when they hug at the end of the storyline, they're like cutting to people who are literally crying in the audience. And to set this storyline up, you know, Savage, you know, is a line, he breaks up with Miss Elizabeth as his manager, you know, with the whole Mega Powers Explode thing. And he aligns with Sensational Sherry, who's Queen Sherry at the time. You know, he was king of the ring. Elizabeth didn't make really that many appearances on television at that point. You know, she wasn't really involved in the WWE, whatever have you. But for WrestleMania 7, the kicker was, you know, Savage wanted a title shot. Warrior wouldn't give it to him, so he cost Warrior the title at Royal Rumble against Sergeant Slaughter. Fast forward to WrestleMania 7, they have a career versus career match. You know, great match for anybody that hasn't checked it out. You know, Savage loses the match, but what makes this special is the aftermath of the match. You know, the crowd, is, regardless of what they felt about Randy Savage, respected him as a wrestler, respected him as a performer. So, you know, Sherry realizes, you know, his career is over. My career could be over too. And she starts kicking the tar out of the Macho Man. And they cut to Elizabeth in the beginning of the match. They cut to Elizabeth, who's sitting in the crowd watching the match. Elizabeth jumps over the railing, runs down the ringside, throws Sherry off of, you know, Savage. And the crowd is going crazy when she's doing this. So Savage is disoriented, you know. He gets up and he sees Miss Elizabeth. He had no idea Miss Elizabeth was there. Liz is crying, you know, Savage is like, who attacked me? The referee is outside with Sherry, like, explaining, like, this is the person that attacked you, not Liz. You know, and the crowd is, like, again, going crazy for all of this. So Savage looks around, he points at Miss Elizabeth, and he, like, outstretches his arms, and, like, she falls into him, and they hug and stuff like that, and the crowd is going absolutely berserk. There are people crying, there are people cheering, and then Savage is doing his spiel, you know, he's playing up to the crowd because this is supposed to be the last time that, you know, Savage is supposedly wrestling in the WWF, which didn't last long, of course. We get into another storyline where we talked about heel Jake Roberts in 91. This is basically almost where it started, but not quite. You know, that would be his next feud, so to speak. In fact, what's funny about that, Warrior would left at SummerSlam 91 over a pay dispute, but Savage, you know, I think was taking time off of TV or just wanted to relax a little bit. Was contemplating getting out of the ring. This was kind of a way to like write him off a little bit. He did a little commentary, but as for that moment, like the face turn, the crowd ate it up immediately. They bought it. You know, Savage did like the whole putting Miss Elizabeth on his shoulder and pointing, and like, you know, it was a great photo op. You know, I think to this day it's one of the best stories that the WWE has ever done. As far as like just like a pure face turn and a pure storyline arc going full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, I you explained that beautifully, sir.
I know you got nothing.
I don't got a damn thing. Anybody? Anybody?
No.
All right, cool. Then Q, why don't you go with yours?
So, I'm just gonna drop a specific date. June 27th, 2011. What happened on June 27th?
No. Just please.
I mean, this was a certain Monday Night Raw after John Cena had lost to a certain R-Truth because of a certain voice of the voiceless that came out, sat down on the front stage of that Monday Night Raw and
yes, sir,
one of the most glorious cutting promos in wrestling history to date and called it the Pipe Bomb. And CM Punk on June 27th, to 2011, CM Punk's pipe bomb is actually what turned him into a face. And the reason I say I go with that is because this was the first time that we actually saw in a long time, we saw a wrestler broke the fourth wall, broke the legendary fourth wall. He literally, you saw him shooting that promo where he was talking about, he was getting tired of not getting pushed. He wasn't getting pushed enough. He should have been at least even as big as a star as he is. He should have been getting the same type of perks that the likes of John Cena was getting. The John Cenas, the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnsons. He should have been getting his own ice cream bars. He wanted those same ice cream bars brought back. And he always said that this company probably would be better off if Vince McMahon is dead and gone.
That moment in itself.
Yeah,
that
that's
had the fans just shocked, but at the same time, it also made you couldn't boo him. You just, because it's like you also, at the time, yes, CM Punk was a heel, but everything that CM Punk was saying was the truth. He finally, you have, if we're going by script, here we have a star that came out and he's just telling the truth about everything that you said before. You're seeing what we had to deal with the likes of, we were getting John Cena shoved down our throats all the time. Before John Cena, it was, and before John Cena, it was just that drought we had. Before we had the Rocks, we had the Austins, and once they left out, you had nobody. It was just John Cena. Literally, John Cena. Of course, you had the Randy Ortons, the Batistas, the Undertakers, Edges, Triple H, but it was mainly just John Cena. This was the guy, and this was everybody that they wanted people to be like. They wanted you to be like him. They wanted to be like John. And here, CM Punk is over here, giving facts like, he knows he's a better wrestler than John. He knows he can cut a promo better than John. He knows it. So he, by fact, he should be the one that should be the face of this company, and he deserved to. And this led on. Of course, as he kept on going back and forth. This pipe bomb led to further ongoing promo banters between Cena and Punk, to even lead to one
and
of the
Vince.
And Vince, of course, because at the time, CM Punk, while he was doing his pipe bomb, he let it be known that he was going to leave. He was out. He was done. When he was going, his contract expired on that same date of Money in the Bank. After Money in the Bank, he was out. And because Vince had saw that how much of a star CM Punk is and an asset he was, he didn't want to let him go. So, tried to work contract out with him. And, Punk was still taking shots at Vince. Vince ended up even apologizing.
I will kick you in the balls and you will like it. I remember what?
You will like it. And he did. Vince did. He did it.
He went off.
Even then, like Punk still went on and gave another great promo of basically saying that John Cena became the very thing that he hates.
Yep.
He compared him to the likes of the Boston Celtics. Compared him to the likes of he wanted to say he's the
he said he was the Yankees.
He said he's a Red Sox fan.
He said, but you are what you hate. He said you are a franchise. You are the New York Yankees, and that's when Cena punched him right in the face.
That's what got punched in the mouth, and it's cool. Punk, he took that. He said it. He's like, you know what? It's cool because I'm tired. I'm tired, John. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of arguing. And
he's gonna leave with that belt.
Say goodbye to the CM Punk. Say goodbye to the WWE title. Say goodbye to CM Punk. And then so of course you knew when they led to that Money in the Bank match, while the face is supposed to be John Cena, the face was CM Punk. Everybody was cheering for Punk.
I mean, that's not fair. That you also have to state that CM Punk was in his hometown of Chicago, one of the loudest. Again, another city that has a loud fan base. And hometown, crazy.
But even take into account when Punk gave that promo about John Cena being a dynasty, he told it to John in his hometown of Boston.
Right.
And they still cheered him on. So that just goes to show you.
No. I'm not saying, but I'm saying the pop when his music
of course,
hit.
it's deafening. It's deafening
Was
because he's the second
insane.
city saint. He's second city saint. He's Chicago's favorite son. And at that time, they love him. And of course, led to one of their probably still one of their best matches in their feud ever. That match was beautiful. It could have been
one of the best matches I've seen in recent memory. That
at that
And
time.
this is the first one, correct?
Yeah.
I think
It
2011.
was the first match. Okay.
And what made it crazy is because everybody's thinking, well, all right, Cena's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Vince is not gonna fire
way out.
And
everybody had that thought.
Everybody had that thought, and Punk won. And that set everything.
But the thing is, you gotta remember, even the circumstance, like it was an amazing match.
Yeah.
Like from the bell ringing to the point where even when Vince McMahon came out with John Laurinaitis,
didn't matter.
And Cena came out, punched him in the mouth, went back in the ring, got the GTS,
it still
and
didn't,
then 1, 2, 3.
Because and it's not even that it didn't even matter because in the end
Tried to hit him with the screwdriver.
Punk beat him clean. He beat him clean. It wasn't Punk never cheated. Punk didn't cheat. He didn't cheat to win. It was none of that.
Wrestler.
He was the better wrestler. He out-wrestled, outperformed, and he beat John. He beat Vince's
Big match, John.
And not even that, when he sealed it with a kiss. Took the title.
Man, that was great.
That
was fantastic.
And that
Picture perfect moment.
You sat here and you're like, you thinking about it, you're like,
yo, there's no champion, fam.
This is a good pick. I think I've never looked at it from that point of view of it being like a face turn.
Yeah.
To me, I've never looked at it from being like a face turn point of view. And in fact, like the whole story, like to me, kind of like transcended that like archetype. Right. This is like the first time, like in WWE history, they openly talked about, well, this is his last day here, folks. Like, and to this day, we don't even really know how much of a storyline that is. Whether it's his last day or not. Because he did end up resigning or whatever have you.
That night.
He spent like a couple of weeks away and everything.
He crowned a new champion.
You also have to remember too. Sorry to interrupt. Cool. You also have to remember too. Remember the interaction between the Comic-Con and the conventions that they had as well during those 2 weeks.
Appearances outside.
And I think they gave John Cena. Yeah, they gave John Cena a new WWE title.
No.
I think he did ROH appearance, did he not?
Excuse me. I think he showed up. He showed up at a few places with the title. No, what happened was on Raw they had a tournament. Rey Mysterio won. Cena challenged him. Rey Mysterio accepted, and then Cena beat Mysterio for the title.
Lost the same night.
Disrespectful.
Same night you
lost.
He came out. The CM Punk came out that night.
I was gonna speak about that.
Another crazy interaction.
I thought it was smart that they changed his theme music because I legitimately did not know it was him.
Yeah,
nobody did.
Saw it coming. Everybody was so used to hearing him coming out to "This Fire Burns." Still a great theme song, but when he came out to the Cult of Personality, it's just like, shock value, and it brought even more because once he came out, the fans popped even more. They loved him.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that pipe bomb is literally what it changed the transgressions from what you think is a shoot to what you actually think is scripted. You don't really know to this day. You're still never gonna know. But it made you take a step back to see what, it made you if it wasn't for that pipe bomb, we probably would have never got this much love and reverence and respect for the indie darlings, so to speak.
Yeah.
He paved that way.
We don't get so many of the stars that we like today without CM Punk.
You would have never
paving that.
We don't get the change in PG.
CM Punk didn't even start that movement with this pipe bomb, and even him eventually walking out. you probably would never have gotten the Yes movement.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The Yes
agree.
movement catapulted to what it is. You would have never gotten the likes of seeing Seth Rollins as a WWE champion so quickly. You would have never gotten the likes of seeing, well, I guess if you want to count like guys like Keith Lee, you would have got the Keith Lees, the Adam.
Wait, hold on. You don't get the Kevin Owens without that pop. Without
Yeah,
that
you definitely
pipe.
don't. You
And that's
definitely
very important.
don't get Kevin Owens. That's true. That
You
is true.
can't get the
You
Kevin
know what I
Owens.
mean?
Can't get this Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayn's. You never would have gotten that if it was not for that. If it
Right.
wasn't that man sitting down in cross
We're
leg
Finn Balor.
and just literally and picking up that microphone and just the truth.
Yeah.
He told the truth, and now to any time after that, his favorite catch line: "Do I have your attention now?"
Right. Right.
Yep.
And he had everybody's
Good.
attention. So
Great
that
choice.
to me, that's probably still one of the greatest two face turns in this past decade. In the 2000s era, that's probably one of the greatest face turns ever.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing to say about that one. That's wonderful. And lastly,
Well said.
hey, all right. So I wasn't sure, so I'm just gonna mention it and see how y'all feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H's return to Madison Square Garden,
Good one.
Oh boy,
but
Good one.
he came back as a face, right?
Yeah.
he came back with the vengeance. Yes,
Right.
sir.
Right.
After the quad
Look,
injury.
okay,
That's a
but
pop.
as much as I want to do that, right? I feel like that's more pop than it is just a turn. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, but it was a turn. Wasn't that around?
no, he
Who
was
the
good.
opponent
Don't
at
get
that
me.
time?
No, Jericho was undisputed champion, but like,
Right, Jericho and Stephanie
but the
headlined.
right,
Right,
but
right,
the
right.
thing is this: it's not like I feel like yes, it is a face turn, but he was a bad guy when he left. And I'm not saying that doesn't help change, but I mean, I feel like a face turn has a legit story. His was just based off the fact that it was a comeback story. You feel me?
I get what
Okay.
you're saying.
So
Interesting.
I
with
don't
that being
necessarily.
said, it like yes, he was a good guy during his next run. You know what I mean? From coming back, but it's different. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I hear you.
I feel like there
I
has
hear
to be
you.
like a legit story for the turn. You feel me? So with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Shield
It's a good
because
face turn. It's
That's
good
a
for
good thing.
you think about it, they came in and they came wrecking everything and
Yeah.
excuse me, everything and everyone.
Except
Um,
CM Punk.
right, which is very true, right? And then you find out that they've been working for Paul Heyman, right? They have these amazing 6-man matches and change the way the WWE looks at the way 6-man matches are. And I'm not discrediting the New Day. I'm just saying that I think the way that they used the three of them definitely, the quickness and the tags, the triple team moves, you know what I mean? So they were like a legitimate force to be reckoned with. Um so they go through that, they win at Mania, you know what I mean? It was a lot. They definitely you watch them just trample people, and then Triple H is there, and then he has that you're gonna follow. They deal with Kane, like corporate Kane. It's a lot. It's a big story. So when Daniel Bryan does the Yes movement and or the take or the Occupy Raw,
Mm-mm.
you know he has all these fans come into the ring. They're all chanting yes. That was, I think that might be the only Daniel Bryan moment to top the Cage moment. When
Okay.
everybody is that Occupy Raw, because that was crazy. Um, but that's a face turn. I mean, as a pop, you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so the next week, Kane comes out. He grabs the mic. He knows who helped him because where were they? He's the king of King. Where's King from?
Oh, Memphis.
Tennessee.
Thank you.
Memphis,
Okay, so
Tennessee.
he's the king of Memphis. He has the connections. So he asked Jerry to get into the ring. He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. La, 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 la. The Shields music hits. They come down, and then Rollins grabs the mic. I think you need to listen to this man. So they pull him in the ring. They talk, and then you hear Rollins goes, Jerry, or you hear Rollins say, Jerry, don't be afraid. The Shield always knows what's best for business. And what happened was Triple H, somebody made it slip up that Triple H wanted, like, put a hit on them. And that moment was them, turning from that ruthless, they were still ruthless, but that ruthless, bad guy group to becoming, three of the most, three of the top guys in the industry,
as well as one of the most, if not the most dominant faction in history as well.
Yeah, this definitely helped that story. And they turn, all three of them turn around to Kane. Kane drops the mic. They kind of surround him. He's like, y'all don't know enough about this business. And then stops, and they proceed to whoop Kane's ass. And then that was the beginning of them just dominating both Raw and SmackDown. And just the roster, like, they was just the roster jumped them. They jumped the roster. The matches with Evolution. The next WrestleMania match, I mean, there was a lot, and I think that turn, like, you feel that turn. You're like, you know what, you're right. He did mess his boys up. This is your fault. You said you did this to yourself, Triple H. You did this to yourself. I think that is like a, I want to say it's an underrated moment within the last 8 years.
But it's still a great face moment, because honestly, them turning on Triple H is what the seeds were already
planted. Yeah,
it was already being planted ever since the Shield was even going against the Wyatts, and even before, when the Wyatts were like when the Shield was still trying to get revenge on the Wyatts, and Triple H kept on trying to reel them back in, telling them, no, boys, stand down. And, Bray over here being funny, like, "Go on, boys, you're your daddy," telling them that. It's like they can't do nothing.
So funny to listen.
They can't say nothing. They can't do nothing because they told them stand down, and it's just like.
And they usually test the waters with stuff like that.
But by the way, quote me. I'm gonna need this match in my life. The Fiend versus Triple H. I need that. I need that to happen.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
It could. It could happen, but I also I think what adds on to it is because, I think Triple H had spoke on this when he was in the last Rock documentary. He's not as active as he should. And you think, like, he thinks it's not as easy as he thought it would just be easy. Like, just do a couple crotch. We do a couple cross shops, pedigree here, tombstone there. We're all good. It's just regular matches. But being that he's not an active competitor like that anymore, it's even as safe as Bray Wyatt can be, I don't. It just would not. I don't think the match would make Bray look good.
Yeah. I need this in my life. I don't care. I need it to happen. I need him to sit down and Abigail.
I have to give him purpose.
Not even.
Look, I just want the red and the green. All right. I just want the lights with the red lights, and then Triple H come out with the green lights. That's all I want.
So you want?
I just want it for the entrance. That's it.
So you want a Christmas
at
blood
Mania.
brawl? Is what you're saying? At Mania. Okay.
False.
Oh, cool.
All I want is the two amazing entrances. That's it. I give a damn about the match because I know what's gonna happen. Bray's gonna whoop that ass. All right.
Presentation of it is.
Sorry, that's what I need.
Yeah.
That's
presentation of it is going to be pretty amazing. I can't.
Yeah. I need Cole Orange to be there to do Bray's entrance. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, with that being said,
have any honorable mentions, fellas?
I did the Triple H. I mean, that was the only. Oh, Brock's first face turn. when he was talking crap to the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it? That was like the beginning of that face turn. I think,
the corporation kind of turned on Rock.
right, and then that was
the
like when
corporation
he
did
was
turn
really,
on.
but that's when he was really like, I think that promo and just the fans' reaction, like it was just like, what? Yes.
I have two that I want to just talk about very shortly. One is the double turn between Bret Hart and Steve Austin
Yeah.
in '97. I mean, the crowd was, and Austin didn't change character. I think that's what made it great. Like, crowd just respected Austin into being a face.
Right.
They just believed that Father's a sharpshooter, and it was like, well,
how can you not? Really how can you not like that guy?
Yeah, it's like, how can you not respect him? The other one, anybody else want to go really shortly? I'll take care of something really quick.
The only other one I'd go with is, which WrestleMania was it that what was Shawn Michaels' last WrestleMania again?
The 25?
No, not 25.
No.
When he retired.
No. That's 26.
No, not 26. Talk about Shawn Michaels when he retired the first time. When he retired the first time, and he was for his back was hurt, was killing him.
That was
14.
WrestleMania 14.
There you go.
Yes, it's that WrestleMania 14.
Always ask the encyclopedia.
Yeah, when he went against Steve Austin, and even though Shawn Michaels lost, of course, he lost that match, but the incredible face turn was Mike Tyson. Was Mike Tyson punching out?
Oh yeah.
I felt like that was a good face moment for me. That was funny because that time, Mike Tyson, he was the enforcer. He was supposed to be, he was aligned with DX because he made it. Kept on doing the crowd chop almost like every second that he was with them. But then, like, I guess, because after Shawn lost, he felt the way had pushed it on Mike, and Mike knocked him out real quick. That was gold. And then it just reveals it's like he wasn't with DX no more. It's like, okay, that's a face turn.
That's a good call. I think it's a good call. The other one I was going to talk about was in WCW, where Hulk Hogan returned to the red and yellow.
Yeah.
When he was being in NWO. That was, you're talking about a pop. That's a pop. Like you always tell when the crowd is into it when you're watching at home and the camera's shaking.
Right.
That's a pop. Like Troy, I know Troy and Brendan. I don't know if you know too much WCW or watched it or whatever have you. Just go on YouTube and watch and put Hulk Hogan, like Hulkamania Returns 1999 or something like that, and the pop that he got at however old the Hulkamania gimmick was, the pop that he got will rival any pop that we've probably heard in all of our wrestling lives. And
I could agree with that because, like I said, as much as
I know that Triple H pop was crazy.
Because I mean, as much as he entertained everyone when Hulkamania turned on everybody and became live with the NWO, it's such a feel good moment to find, like, you see, like, he came back home.
It's a little nostalgia, you get a nostalgia pop for a while for Hogan, but that still doesn't, I don't think, discount the level of like a face turn.
You know what? I do actually have one real quick. I think the turn. I think the face turn for Batista, the very first one, was really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that was probably one of the. What?
It had to happen.
Oh! I was confused. I thought Troy was over there hating.
That's why I fixed it. That's why I fixed
it. That's a good call.
Yeah, I think that face turn was just so, like, you see Triple H just egging him on, and it just, the thumbs up and the thumbs down. And once he put him through that, we spoke about this before in a previous episode, but
I think it was last week.
Was it last week? Yeah, I think it was. Oh God, it was last week.
Yeah,
that power bomb. Oh gee, you knew, and the animal was truly unleashed, and the history he made after that.
Yeah,
crazy.
That suit said it all, man. Came for business.
I honestly wish that he didn't get injured, because if he didn't get injured, he really would have been the man. Like, Batista was labeled as the guy at a point in time. If he just didn't get injured, and they just did have to go and keep on turning to John, as much, no discredit to John Cena, I think Batista would have been like just as big of a star as John was.
As John,
I
yeah.
think he's no disrespect to John. I think he's a bigger star
bigger
now.
Star now, yeah, I agree.
No disrespect to John. I mean,
I think in wrestling terms, John Cena is of course a bigger star. Excuse me. When it comes to outside of wrestling, Batista is definitely a bigger star than Cena.
We know.
correct.
I mean,
I've said
But not saying, but Cena is definitely creeping up though, especially with the newer movies he's done and
Yeah,
and
he's
I
the
mean,
stuff that he's
Suicide
coming out
Squad
in.
alone is gonna propel him very
ain't
far
much,
up.
man. I ain't riding with that yet. I'll
We're
believe
just
it when I see it.
yeah, let's watch it first.
But
But
speaking of John Cena, how can we not talk about John Cena's face turn
okay,
and
On.
how him? I mean, you can say yawn, but his face
I said
turn.
go on, not yawn.
Oh, gone. Okay.
excuse me.
Well, I'm saying, without that face turn, like we would not have had the face of the company for how many freaking years at this point, because something needed to change. I mean, we had it. We had the Doctor of Thugonomics, but he was sort of a tweener. Like he played on, the crowd's emotions, but the crowd liked him a lot more than hated him at a certain point. But then when he changed into, I want to say the Marine, because that was kind of the transition point where he was getting, the hustle, loyalty, respect thing down and the chain gang thing down. But if we didn't get that face turn, we wouldn't have had, Big Match John. We wouldn't have had the guy that was the face of the company for, I want to say, about 10 plus years. So I think his face turn is definitely something to revisit at some point.
Yeah, okay. Well, ladies and germs, that has been another episode. So I just want to say real quick, thank you for the love, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And
Also, the ghost of Sammy Davis Jr. happened to not only plug our podcast, but also wish you a happy birthday from Beyond the Grave. So that was a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
And also, our unofficial sponsor for today.
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
By we're trying to.
Hope it's not the only thing you can get fat off of, folks.
Wow. We're trying to get our power with the promotion. That's what this is.
Yeah.
They only had beer donuts. They definitely be talking then. But go on, sir.
All right, well, gentlemen, let's get these social rounds. Where can they find you, Striker?
Striker Dragoon on Twitter. Striker
Yeah,
Dragoon
dumpster,
on
that's right.
Instagram. Hey, sir. Your turn is soon, okay? Your turn is soon. You can find me at Striker Dragoon on Twitter and on Instagram now.
Why you waving your finger at everybody? That's quite disrespectful, sir.
Because I'm the damn leader, and that's how it goes.
Whoa. This is called the Four Corners in the commentary, not the TP with Troy Stick.
Your dad was a wild blast.
It's, those that one
But
person.
But enough
All right, well, ladies
impressions.
and gentlemen, next week will just be us outside of
Us
Troy.
three? Wow. Okay.
Troy will be
No problem. And also check my Twitch because the council Twitch can't be used because I'm the leader.
All right. Yeah. Twitch.
But
God.
anyway, just get to the socials. Follow council, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search us, you'll find us. And follow our YouTube. Like, subscribe. We need those views. We need that love. We are pitching our campaign for being one of the best podcasts of all time. So please do us a favor and just subscribe to us. All 700 followers. Of all time. See my eyes? The work.
Yo,
red eyes. The work.
You're scaring people.
Yo.
All right, guys.
Yo, QS.
That was intense.
That was crazy.
That was threat. Jesus.
Too much Heineken.
I gotta cross the street. Yeah. So my Twitter handle and my IG handle is the same. Forever Thiefing. The spelling is right there. Well, right there. You guys are gonna see it anyways. You guys see it. Follow me. Follow.
You were on that complete.
Follow us. Follow us on our individual socials. Follow us on the council, and like and subscribe to our YouTube page. You know, we will follow back. We are engaging. As always, you know, thank you guys for always coming in, just kicking it with us, listening to us, watching it. We appreciate it. It's only up from here.
Stretch.
Well, you can find me on my Instagram, which is located on my right-hand corner here. Zoom, my thing is mirrored, so that's why I messed up this now. I'm slapping the air, but
I think
also
you should
find me.
spell that out, sir. I think you should spell it out tonight.
And I think you should stop smoking the devil's lettuce. But anyway, you can find me in the Council of Commentary Facebook group. I will be talking about everything else under the sun. And I also want to point out a lot of obscure celebrities have been shouting out this podcast. First week it was Terrence Howard. This week it was the ghost damn Sammy Davis Jr. We have no idea who to be next week. Stay tuned to find out.
Oh man! And last but not least, Mr. Marvel 87. You can follow me Twitter, Instagram. I'm just saying it's easy. It's just simple. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Please let your friends know, your family know. Join. Thank you for listening once again.
Your grandpappy, remember that. They matter too.
Oh man!
It reminded me of The Rock when you said that. Right. Your mammy, your grandmammy.
Oh, and just for a little heads up, we'll be doing something real special soon. We're gonna post it on all of our social medias, because we got stuff in store. So once again, we are the Four Corners of Commentary.
Of course.
And we out here.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Oh,
Happy birthday again, brother.
Happy birthday, Mr. Marvel.
I tried to get Smokey to come through to sing.
And we're out. We're out. Bye, guys.
I could